So this video is to give you a brief review about the topics that will appear on your math exam. So let's start. Okay, as you remember, one of the most important topics that we have in here in math is this one. It is adding and subtracting like fractions. If you remember, like fractions is when I have the same denominator, for example, here. This is a very simple and easy exercise because I just have to sum denominators. For example, 3 nines plus 4 nines equal, correct, equals 7 nines. Look, I don't simplify because it's not possible. Next exercise, 2 6 plus 3 6 equal 5 6. That's right. You remember, right? Now, 1 quarter plus 2 quarters equal 3 quarters. You see? Adding and subtracting like fractions is pretty easy because as I have the same denominator, I just add up denominators and simplify if it is possible. If not, I cannot. Well, now here I have this exercise that is one of the exercise that we worked a lot in classroom and is something that has a lot of points in the exam and that I really need that you practice. This is adding and subtracting mixed numbers. First, to add or subtract mixed numbers, I just want to remind you the steps. Number one, when I have, look at this example that I have here. This is one addition of mixed numbers. What is the first step that I had to do? First, I need to convert from mixed into fraction, right? Well, how can I convert it? Look at this, okay? Look at this. I have 9 and 1/2 plus 5 and 3/4. I need to convert. What of these steps that I have in here is converting? Is the first, is the second, the third, or is the last? I need to convert 9 and 1/2. What is my new fraction here if I convert from mixed into fraction? Yes, is this one, right? Look. Is this one because I convert from mixed to fraction. How? Multiplying and adding. 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1, 19 halves. Plus 4 times 5 is 20 plus 3, 23 quarters. Remember, I keep the same denominator because it's necessary. If not, it's wrong. I have to write the same denominator. Now, after this exercise, I have the next step. What's the next step? Look for the least common denominator. And how can I look for the least common denominator or the least common multiple in this case? Well, in the times tables. If my denominators are 2 and 4, I look in the times tables of 2 and in the times tables of 4, what is the least common denominator? What is the least common? Okay? What is the first that is common? What is the first that is common in 2 and 4? 4, correct. Now, 4 is my least common. Now, how can I know that this is the next step? Because look, if my denominator, my least common denominator is 4, I copy 4 here and I copy 4 here because I need to change it. I need to change. Now, 4 divided by 2 is 2 times 19 is 38. I got my first. Now the second, 4 divided by 4 is 1 times 23 equals 23. The idea in here, guys, is that to add or subtract fractions or mixed numbers, I really need to have the same denominator. Now that I have the same denominator, I just add up the numerators. 38 plus 23, 38 quarters plus 23 quarters equal 61 quarter. Correct? Look, I just add up the numerators. 38 plus 23 is 61, and I copy my denominator because this never changes. But is this my final answer? No, this is not my final answer, right? This is not my final answer because I need to simplify. Look, I need to simplify. And how can I simplify? Since this is improper fraction, I divide. I divide 61 divided by 4 and I got 15. 15 times 4, I multiply and I do the division as you normally do it. Then remember in the division what is the position of each number. Now, let's continue with the steps that we have in here. We finished this image, right? But I need that we have to complete these steps. Look at this image. I have the operation here. The first step is convert from mixed number into fraction. Is here. I convert. Then we need to look for the least common multiple. Is here. After this, what I have to do is add up the numerators and keep the same denominator. Look, I add up the numerators and I keep the same denominator. After this, what I have to do? If it is possible, I have to simplify. If you don't remember pretty well on your notebook, you have a lot of exercises about simplifying, okay? And in simplifying, we can simplify dividing. And for example, look, I divide 61 divided by 4. Now, when we make the division, remember that the quotient is the whole number. Okay? Remember this. The quotient is the whole number. Now, the remainder in the division, is, you remember? Is the numerator. And the divisor is the denominator. Perfect. If you follow these steps, look, you simplify how dividing. Remember that when you have the division, remember that in here, the quotient is the whole number. Look, this is the quotient. The remainder is the numerator. This is the remainder, is the numerator. And the divisor is the denominator. Okay? Good. Well, now we have in here fraction multiplication. This is a simple topic because the rules are the next ones. I multiply. If this is a fraction multiplication, I have to multiply. But what I have to multiply, you remember? Numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. Simple like this. Now, look at this. Can you read it, please? Yeah. 3/4 times 2/3. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. 3 times 2. And then 4 times 3. Okay, 3 times 2 equal 6. 4 times 3 equal 12. But is this my final answer? No, right? No. Because the next step is simplify. Simplify. How can I simplify? Dividing. When my fraction is proper, I have to simplify each one. Dividing. But if I divide the numerator by one number, I have to divide the denominator for the same number. In one number, can I divide both? I look for the biggest. Yeah, I can divide by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So, my final answer is 1/2. But if you want to make the whole process, so all the fractions until you get to the simplest, it's okay. But if you don't just want to find very easy, very fast the final answer, so you just look for the greatest factor between both numbers and then you divide it. Okay? Well, now we have in here fractions. Fractions is easy. Remember, it's a unit that I can divide in equal parts and I take. Remember that I have numerator and denominator. Numerators are the parts that I take. Denominator are all the parts that I divide. Okay? What is the fraction here? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4 is my numerator. 4, 5, 6. What is my fraction here? 4, 6. Correct. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is pretty easy. What is the fraction here? Is here? No, right? Is here. 1, I color 1 and I divide it in 2. Now, in here, what is my fraction? How many parts I color? 3. And how many parts are in total? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, what is my fraction? 3/4. And the last, 1, 2, 3, 1/3. You see? Pretty easy. Fractions are awesome. Okay, guys, it was all. Please, I really need you practice so you can stop the video and you can practice by yourself or with your parents or with someone else. And see you soon. Remember, follow the instructions that doctors, parents, and authorities say, and see you soon. Bye-bye.